can the FIs ensure that their operations are streamlined when they are implementing a seamless omnichannel strategy? And what are some of the best practices for managing this complexity of these integrations effectively?
And Keith, feel free to chime in, right, with your experience as you're assisting FIs, right? I think historically, again, banks, not a lot of banks fall in the first bucket, which is they already have an enterprise payment operations team, which is a centralized body. Some banks do have it even within tier 2 to 4. Some banks don't, right? So the challenges are different. When a bank who is siloed and federated for years, and they have an ACH team and a wires team, and now they have an instant payment team. When you start doing that enterprise operations effort, right? It's not just people movement, right? You have to think about the technology that is going to sit behind and how you're going to train them. But then it's also about the risk. Like OCC had given a heightened guidance late of last year about like how payment risk, as FIs are modernizing their payment platform, people are forgetting the whole emphasis on payment risk, right? When you merge teams, operational teams together, there were reasons why they were initially segmented, right? Because there are different risks, different networks have different risks, and you have to understand that. But when you now create a centralized team, the challenge that the institution has is like, you can't just say, I'll put everyone in one group and then still function same. There is a whole different lens of payment risk that you need to bring in. There's a whole different angle, like how are you going to optimize? The intent of like centralized team is how do you make it efficient, right? Stop creating key person risk, right? Every institution at some point starts creating that key person risk when you are that style. This person's been working on ACH for 25 years. Guess what? They're about to retire. Oh, we've not done anything, right? That happens very often. And the whole intent is, as you are bringing in a payment server, as you're consolidating your platforms, that's the right time to consolidate your operations, because that's when you'll start seeing efficiencies drive through. And I work a lot with our upfront treasury management teams too, where it matters, right? You want the sales team to go sell products, but then the impact of how do you service the clients? If the operation is not centralized, guess what? Then now you're just putting people around it, and then it impacts your customer experience. I want to request a positive pay question because you don't have a centralized, and I have a wire question, by the way. I'm a corporate client. I'm putting in a request. I'm calling a customer service. If that operations is not centralized, guess what? I'm not going to get an answer for the 3 days just because they're internally trying to figure out like who owns ACH versus positive pay versus who's the SME for wires. So to me, it's very interesting to see how this is a chance to, like, if you're centralizing and making your payment tech ecosystem efficient, please, like, it's a chance for you to centralize your ops team and bring that efficiency and leverage all of the things to actually drive the customer experience at the end of the day from your treasury perspective.
Great point. Keith, what do you see?
And I would, and again, we have, I think the move towards instant payments when we launched 6 years ago, and the planning to get to that launch to now, I think caused a lot of financial institutions. It spurred them to rethink how they do things as it relates to payments. Tanvi hit a little bit on that, where thinking about centralizing processes versus things being very siloed is right on the money. Of those 500 institutions that are on RTP and that grows as accelerated growth, the Fed has 300 or 400, I think, FIs that have signed up at this point. The vast majority of those, like 90+%, have leveraged a technology provider like Volante to take advantage of the capabilities they provide, that 24/7. Again, thinking operationally a little different, where things have been moving to a more cloud-based platform as a service type of a model that really facilitates that system being up 24/7, 7 days a week, right? Now, the good news is the nature of RTP and FedNow as well, I suppose, is some of the capabilities of the network facilitate easier operational issues, I guess. The fact that the customers have complete visibility into every transaction immediately. I know I paid you, you know you've been paid, it's cleared and settled and done within seconds, has really reduced the number of incoming calls banks get for, hey, did I get paid? Did I pay this bill? Am I going to pay this bill? Did it come out of my account? You get none of that with RTP because they know as a part of the transaction process. So I would argue that parts of implementing RTP have made the operational challenges much easier than other payment types, simply because of the visibility of it and the credit push nature of it. There is no pull capability or debit capability, which simplifies the process and the operational concerns as well, I would say.
Great. Thank you. Great points.